Hello, BookTube. I was out and about today on the brief window of time that I allowed myself away from my little invalids, and I came across a charity shop book sale of extreme cheapness. And since I had the 20 minutes to browse, and since I had a pair of broad shoulders to carry whatever I picked out, I indulged myself. And I got a bunch of books that I wanted to show you. And the muscular teenager who was doing the hefting said, "Dude, I don't want to carry all these things just so you can talk about them with your lame ass booktube friends." And I said, "Yeah, you don't want to, but you will." And he said, "Dude, it's not like I'm your slave." And I said, "Your grandmother tells me otherwise." And he said, "Dude, works for me." So I want to start off with something we've actually seen on this channel before. It's Alan Moorehead's book, Darwin and the Beagle, but it's hardcover. And I remember when I was showing it to you on the big biography bookshelf tour, I had a paperback, and I might have even complained that I wish I had a hardcover, and now I do. I'm just going to stack these out of the way. And the next one, look at this. This is A.L. Rouse's biography of William Shakespeare from 60 years ago. Rouse's is just the absolutely stereotypical plummy Oxford Don who doesn't know anything, doesn't think about anything, is mean. But this book held sway forever as far as a popular Shakespeare biography goes. And I've never seen it before in this edition, a dust-jacketed hardcover. You always see, it's had a million editions, so you see it everywhere. But I've never seen this one before. And I don't have it, and it's been probably 50 years since I read it, so I snatched it up right away. And then look at this. This is a Franklin Mint, one of the Franklin Mint editions. This is their Divine Comedy with the gold gilt pages and the sewn binding, and it's full of illustrations by the great engraver Gustave Doré, which is, reason enough to recommend it. The only drawback to it is that the translation itself is by John Ciardi, who is the most reprinted and popular English language translation of Shakespeare in the 20th century, and also the worst. A flat-footed, artless English translation, something where you're reading it, if you're reading his English version of Dante, and you don't know anything about Dante, the very first question you will have is, what on earth is the big deal? And if you ask that while you're reading Dante, you have a bad translator. Because it is a big deal. It's supposed to catch you along, and it doesn't in the Ciardi translation, but this is so pretty, and it was effectively free. So, and then there's this thing, Dance of Dragons by George R.R. Martin, in a trade paperback. I just snatched it up because I couldn't remember whether or not I had the hardcover. I do, it turns out, have the hardcover, so this is a double. And also I didn't notice that it has this gaudy HBO banner across the top, which is kind of rotten since, I love, as we've covered on this channel many times, I love filmed versions of books quite a bit. But I don't know. This cover is kind of pretty without this. I'd rather not be anchored to, season whatever of a show starring 30 cokeheads. But anyway, it's a double anyway, so it hardly matters. And then we've got this thing here, Coast to Shore. This is a Michael. What's his name? Capuzzo. Michael Capuzzo's. It's absolutely thrilling, seat of your pants history of the 1916 shark attacks along the Jersey Shore and up the Matawan Creek, by probably just one shark that just kept attacking people. The thing would disappear for a day and then return, killing someone. And Capuzzo tells the whole story from beginning to end, not just the shark, but the hysteria and the social movements and whatnot. And it's just, I'm a big shark attack fan, and this is kind of the best. This is the best history of that most famous shark attack in American history that's ever been written. I disagree with him. Only he seems to think that it was a great white shark, probably an immature great white shark. I don't agree with that. It's, even for an immature great white shark, it's extremely anomalous behavior to swim up a river, much less to stay in one area and keep attacking people at shore. I think it was a bull shark. It is very much along their nature, but even so, if you see this at your local Savers or whatever, and you're wondering, is this any good? Oh my God, is it good? The paperback, the trade paperback, has a shark fin photoshopped onto it, just in case you missed the thread. And then another Franklin Mint. Look at this. Isn't that lovely? And in this case, I have no quabbles, because in this case it's John Dryden. It's Dryden's translation of Virgil's Aeneid. So it's the best of both worlds for Steve. Oh, look at that. It's a letter from 1986 from the original recipient of this book. It appears you may have overlooked forwarding payment for your recent charges. I'm sure you will appreciate my calling this oversight to your attention. The original recipient probably skipped town. But isn't this lovely? Oh, it's always a thrill in a charity or used book hunt of any type. It's always a thrill to find a book that's going straight into the heart of my collection, the books in the other room, in my bedroom. And this is one of them. This is the Aeneid that I prefer. It's my favorite translation, and it's in a beautiful edition. I'll never find a better one. So that was a find. And then this, Words Alone by Dennis Donahue. This is a collection of his deadline pieces and periodical ruminations and whatever on the life and work of T.S. Eliot, who is a poet I've never liked. And I remember reading this collection when it first came out. When was that? That was the year 2000. That was a long time ago. Okay. And I remember going into it thinking, all right, well, if anybody's going to convince me, it's going to be you. And I remember that he did not. But that's a long time, and my poetry sensibilities have, I hope, been shifting and growing the whole time. So I saw it basically for free in hardcover. I grabbed it because in 2017 I will give not only his arguments, but Eliot's poetry another try. And with an open mind, and we'll see. And then the next one, it was another find. It's Princess Margaret, A Life Unraveled, by Tim Hild, I think is how you say his name, or Held, or whatever. This is a UK paperback of it's from 2007. It's a biography of Princess Margaret. And when I saw it, and when I was thumbing through it on the way back here, I realized to my astonishment that I have never owned a biography of Princess Margaret. It's kind of amazing. The Queen's sister. It's the highest profile royal for 40 years, other than the Queen and her husband. So I look forward to reading it. I've never heard of it. I've never read it. I don't think I've ever read any book reviews of it. The subtitle, A Life Unraveled, I think probably gives away the game as to how it's going to shape up as far as sympathy for Princess Margaret, but we'll see. But a Windsor biography that I've never read, good Lord, what good hunting. And then the rest of these are mass market paperbacks, which I tend not to buy. These things fall into the category of mass market paperbacks that I will buy because they're science fiction. And 95% of science fiction that was issued in mass market paperback, you'll never see in any other format. So if you want it, that's the format you have to get it in. The first one is Walter John Williams, and Facets is the name of the book. This is actually a collection of short stories, and he is really, really good. And one of the very first short story in here is Surfacing, the long short story called Surfacing that is amazing. Just, if I had to draw up a list of the 50 greatest short stories, science fiction short stories of all time, it would be on that list. So I was very happy to find it. And then the next two are going to require a little bit of reinforcing. They're in a little rotten shape, but there's an author that I love. It's an author I think I mentioned on this channel before. His name is David Drake. He's a great science fiction practitioner of military sci-fi. And the first one here is Birds of Prey, in this ugly Baen reissue of the original. It's the same artwork, but only gunked up. And it's a story along a theme. One of his favorite themes was alien technology intersecting with ancient Rome, usually in the form of aliens coming to Earth during the highlight of ancient Rome. And this is one of those. And I'm going to need to fix this cover before it pops off. But let me read this to you here. Rome, 262 AD. That's a mistake. If you ever see that, it's a little wrong. AD comes before the date, BC comes after the date, but it doesn't matter. Rome, 260 AD. It had been the capital of the greatest civilization on earth. Now both city and civilization are dying. Germans flood across the borders from Britain to the Bosphorus, leaving a trail of rape, carnage, and ashes. In the cities, mobs riot. In the countryside, cults seek salvation in dark rituals. Imperial unity has shattered into a mosaic of separatists and usurpers, squabbling amongst themselves as greater enemies gather to swallow them all. One man stands between humanity and the long night, matching his savage determination against the hopeless future. He is Aulus Perennius, an imperial secret agent as tough and ruthless as the age in which he lives. Until now, though, his enemies have all been human. And despite the foreboding cover, the character on the cover ends up not being his enemy, but there are plenty of enemies in the book, and it's a great culture clash type book. And then the next one is along the same lines, only this time, instead of aliens coming to Earth to encounter Romans, aliens kidnap a group of Romans, a Roman legion, and use them to fight in intergalactic arenas in which higher technology is forbidden. And it's called Ranks of Bronze. And this is another hideous Bane reissue. The original one had a row of Roman soldiers on it with a spaceship above them. This one has that as its cover. Now, don't get me wrong. The aesthetics behind the thing have no greater fan than yours truly. But someone who looked like that would have had only one fate if exposed to a Roman legion. And it wouldn't have been combat in interstellar arenas. No one looked like that in the legions of Rome, much less posed like that. But there you go. That was a nice, unexpected charity shop book haul. I thought I would share it with you. A lot of good stuff. I guess I should, now that I think about it, that Dance of Dragons is a double. So if one of you wants it, let me know, and I'll mail it off to you right away. But in the meantime, I'll go for now. Thank you, BookTube.